Hello everyone, this is ICBs here right now, and today we are going to be talking about Marvel once again. And if you haven't heard the news, Jonathan Majors is out as Kang. Wow. I'm not going to talk about Jonathan Majors in this video because that guy is out. Like, I'm not here to talk about moral conundrums and people going to courts. There are other channels for that, but I'm going to talk about Marvel and its future, which I have no idea what's going to happen, which is what this video is about. What the hell is Marvel going to do? Because if you have for some reason not been keeping up with Marvel, which I wouldn't blame you for not doing so because most people don't care about Marvel nowadays, but yeah, Marvel has been building up Kang as the main villain for phase 4, 5, 6, or maybe, I don't know, a couple more maybe. But yeah, that guy was supposed to be the big major bad guy for like the entire phases, for a couple of phases for Marvel, and now that guy won't be in Marvel anymore. It kind of reminds me of that Panic meme. I think Disney might be a living embodiment of that meme right now. I heard some people saying that Marvel might go into the Doctor Doom route, but I doubt that Marvel would make such a drastic decision because it might leave a lot of people really confused, and I just mentioned that a lot of people are not keeping up with Marvel, and Marvel is already really confusing, so it's going to really leave a lot of people confused. So Doctor Doom is probably not going to happen in Marvel anytime soon. So what's the next big thing that Marvel can do right now? I think the obvious thing might be that they would change the actor. That thing makes a lot of sense because, you know, like, I'd never liked Kang as a villain, but Marvel seems to be really going heavy in that direction, which I don't like. I really don't like Kang as a villain, to be honest, but I think Marvel might recast the actor playing the Kang. So yeah, and I also heard some news that not a lot of people are enthusiastic about playing that character, which it's kind of understandable because Marvel is not a really popular franchise nowadays. Because remember back in the days when being in the Marvel Cinematic Universe was like every actor's dream, and now actors are going out of their way to reject the roles in Marvel, which is very understandable. Marvel is absolutely not doing good right now. I think Marvel has a lot of bad luck going for them. I mean, I think they make a lot of bad luck for themselves because Jonathan Majors doing something criminal was not in Marvel's control. It was out of Marvel's control. They can control Jonathan Majors' actions, but they can control a lot of other things, and they haven't been doing a good job with those things. And this thing with Jonathan Majors, I think, is a very small thing. I don't think it puts a dent in Marvel because Marvel is already so bad that one small bad thing isn't going to make it any more worse. I mean, it's a little bit worse, but it's not going to make it so bad. I mean, they can easily recast an actor, but it's still the same pile of shit that it was before. So yeah. Okay, so now that we've established the fact that Marvel sucks right now, what are my generous suggestions for Marvel and how they can improve right now going forward from this point with Jonathan Majors and whatnot? And my suggestion is really simple. Marvel sucks right now. Recast Jonathan Majors' actor and keep doing what you're doing, but do it better. In fact, saying that keep doing what you're doing doesn't sound right. Like, you know, like they're just doing so awfully bad that it just doesn't sound right to say. So don't do what you're doing, but make better movies. That sounds way better, right? And it just feels really ambiguous, kind of an advice to tell Marvel to make better movies, but Marvel has made better movies in the past. Like, for example, Marvel made Thor the Dark World, wasn't a great movie, and then they went on to make better movies. I don't think that it's hard for Marvel to make better movies. They already have writers they know can produce better works. They know directors that they can make better movies. They just need to hire better people and make better storylines, and more importantly than better directors or whatever, they need to hire better writers, because for now in Marvel phase 4, 5 and whatever, the writing is the one thing that has been suffering a lot. And one other thing that I can suggest Marvel to do right now is to make their universes, or right now their phase with phase 4 felt really disjointed. It didn't really felt like the characters could interact with one another because they never did do that. So So I would suggest Marvel to have an interconnected movie where all the Avengers can come together in a single movie, and they don't have to come together to defeat Kang. Like, you can do that with some other movie, but right now maybe you can have a show where a couple of characters can come and meet with one another. You want to establish that these characters know one another, because for example, if they make a Kang Dynasty right now after phase 5 and then 6, and then in Kang Dynasty all of these strangers would come together, they would have no chemistry with one another because they are basically strangers to one another. So you might want to make shows or movies. In fact, don't make shows at all. That would be my another suggestion for Marvel. So make movies where you have characters from different movies or shows. They would come together and they would interact with one another. So that I think that would be much more interesting than watching single solo character movies or shows which like Shang Chi or She-Hulk. Like they're just individual stories. I think it would be far more interesting if we see these characters interact with one another. So those are my suggestions, and it's just something that I'm thinking of while I'm talking about it. So I know they're not really great, but yeah, let me know what your suggestions would be for Marvel, how we can improve, because we've already established that Marvel sucks right now. It's time for solutions, people. Give us some solutions. Let's try to help Marvel, even though Marvel is probably never going to watch this movie, but you know what, we can always try. So yeah, with that said, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and as always, it's time for a goodbye.